Welcome back to season 2 of Turtleneck Tabletalk. I'm your co-host Austin, and we have a very exciting guest on today, which we're going to learn more about educationally, inspirationally, and also have an entertaining conversation. So I'm going to let Devin introduce our guest here.
Yes, and I am so excited because I hope you guys are ready to be inspired by this incredible individual's journey. Starting almost 20 years ago, she was creating custom wedding dresses and just doing odd sewing jobs. And now she owns one of the best boutiques, wedding dress boutiques in Wichita. And she's just fresh off from coming back from New York Fashion Week. So she's kind of a big deal.
Big deal.
Yes. And she's
Big
got
deal.
a lot in planned for the future of Wichita. So today's guest is Alicia Ybarra.
Good job.
Clap it up. How are you doing today?
I'm good.
It's good.
Yes.
That is good.
Yep.
Yeah, do you want to, Devin gave you an awesome introduction.
Yeah.
Do you want to kind of introduce yourself a little bit
For
too?
sure. So more than just a boutique, we are the Midwest premier bridal design house.
Premier.
Working toward being the nation's premier bridal design house. I love that we're located right here in Wichita because it's right in the middle. I can hop on an airplane and be anywhere that I need to be within, a day or less.
That's very
And
nice, yeah.
so as the company is growing and scaling, that's really where our focus is, being able to serve brides, not just locally, but nationwide.
Yeah, that's a great purpose to serve.
Yes.
And you've been working towards that with kind of most of your life.
I have.
I read your website
Yeah.
and started at a very young age.
I did.
And credit 4-H for that? Is that
4-H.
true?
Yes, I took my first sewing class in 4-H. My mom had given me some basics when I was young. I made a pillow, I think, when I was 4 years old. And she was teaching me some hand embroidery and things like that. But I made my first dress when I was 7, and that was through the 4-H sewing class. And that leader was instrumental in my development as a seamstress and instilling the passion in me to pursue design even, and was a mentor up until she passed actually last year. So yeah.
That'll lead good into our inspirational segment. But that's really cool to hear that you had a lot of good mentors and people leading you up into
Absolutely.
awesome business you have today.
Yes. Did you always know that you wanted to create wedding dresses and just be in that creative field, or was it just kind of something that, like I said, just kind of fell into place? Or was it like from 4-H you were like, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life?
I never really had like an intentional plan with it, but I did know that it was something I loved. So when I was even sewing and making dresses and doing my projects every year, the princess dresses, the bridal, the formal wear, like I was always fascinated by it, always just drawn to it. Loved looking at wedding pictures. Of course, I grew up in the 80s and the 90s. Now you know how old I am. But being able to see like just those gorgeous long trains and the lace cut work and my aunts and these poofy sleeves, and I just thought it was like a fairy tale.
Yeah.
And so I've been enamored by weddings and wedding dresses since I can remember.
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of cool features and stuff going in there. And that comes with a lot of experience and learning how to design that too. And you've learned that through a lot of different job experience and career experience before you got to Vanya Designs.
So while I was in college, I actually started my college pathway at Friends University thinking I wanted to study education. I didn't even think there was an opportunity for fashion design, didn't think that you could make money at it, had no research or education whatsoever in the fact that I could turn this into a career. Like I thought sewing was something that you did as a homemaker, or whatever.
Yes.
And I always loved seeing the credits in movies, like especially ones with costumes and, again, period dresses, formal dresses. Like I just loved seeing the credits on that. So that began to make me start dreaming
Did you start
a
doing
bit
some research once you saw
about
the costume
what I
designers?
could do. And so, you speak things and I think I know I was talking to my boyfriend, who is now my husband, at the time, and I said, I can remember watching a movie, I don't remember what it was, but at the end of it, I saw the credits, and I was like, man, I just wish I could do something like that someday. And he goes, well, why can't you? So he really was the instrumental force in pushing me towards pursuing the career that I didn't even think I could. He said, well, look at K-State, like our friends going there. She just mentioned that they have a fashion design program. It was a fairly new program at the time, so I didn't know about it previously. So I looked into it, and the rest is history. While I was there, I worked at a couple of different bridal stores and just loved that whole experience of helping a bride put the dress on. Like, something about when she put that perfect dress on, she just transformed and her face would light up and she felt like a princess. And I loved being part of that moment. And that just fueled that desire for the bridal informal that I've had since I was little.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, true passion.
Exactly.
True passion turned into business.
Yeah.
You could say passion for profit.
You know, that's what we're working on.
Yeah, the business
That's
side
always
of
the
things.
last bit of it.
That's
being a
something-
creative, the business
is-
end I have been able to do, but it is not my favorite thing.
That's
to
something
do.
I admired, like looking at your website and kind of learning how you got started, was kind of getting out of the cutthroat fashion industry and just the industry. Now you have a creative studio, really.
I do. I
And
really
it's
do.
focused on the customer and creating that
And-
dream come true.
Exactly.
So that was very cool for me to look at, and I really want to like just learn more about that process and how you go about creating dreams
Yes.
into reality.
Yeah, definitely. Back to the business side real quick. One thing that I do want to say, though, I heard or read somewhere that as you're building a business and a company and a brand, that you hire for those things that you don't want to do, those things that you don't necessarily enjoy to do. So that's really where I have tried to put and focus my efforts as I'm building my team and building my business. It's like, okay, who do I need to hire next to take something off my plate that is something that I'm not as passionate about, so that I can be designing and I can be working one-on-one with my brides. As far as the creative process goes in the design studio, we've been in our location. We're in downtown Wichita in this beautiful warehouse building. It's got like the exposed brick and it's got 8-foot high ceilings and very industrial, but we were able to just bring in fabric and chandeliers and just everything to make it feel super glamorous. We've got floor-to-ceiling windows in our production room, lots of natural light coming in, and I've been there for 8 years, and I still walk in, and there will be days where it takes my breath away, and I'm like, I get to come here. I get to come here and create beautiful things every single day. It's amazing.
It truly is a beautiful space, and it's just so welcoming. Like, you just go in, like, you haven't been there yet, but we'll be there. We'll be going there for the bonus content, but it is a beautiful space.
I'm excited and I'm looking forward to it. Sounds like
Yeah, as far as the creative process goes, like, I really draw most of my inspiration from my clients. I'm passionate about bringing their ideas to life. I can design and create, and I know what styles and things look beautiful on different body shapes. And I think that's why I love doing the one-on-one design more even than I love designing a collection. I love designing a collection, creating something that I just have complete free reign on. That's very fun and rewarding for me, but it doesn't give me the satisfaction or the sense of fulfillment that designing for a client does. So when she comes to me, most of the time she can't find what she's looking for, and she feels like it just doesn't exist. And most of the time she's right. It doesn't exist.
Yeah.
It's in her brain. And so for me to be able to sketch that out, help guide her towards certain design features that might flatter her figure the best, and then to create and build that through the process, the design process, and she gives her input on what she likes and what she doesn't like, and then to have that perfect dress that's perfect for her. And I don't ever get bored because there's no two brides that are the same. Like, everybody is so unique and individual, and being able to celebrate that individuality,
yeah.
It never gets old.
Yeah, that sounds like an amazing job, and you got your job for the rest of your life. That's so cool.
Now back to that profit, though. That's what we're working on.
Yeah, we're working on that still.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, is that something that, because I mean, you're focused solely on the customers, so it's hard for you to maybe charge them what?
I truly
industry
struggled with that at the
standards?
beginning. I truly did. I didn't understand the value of my time. So I was like pricing stuff according to what I might get paid somewhere else working hourly. And as the brand built and as my reputation grew, I was able to continue to increase those prices. So now my pricing is based off of a number of factors. It's based off of the amount of time that it's going to take it to create the product. It's based off of the cost of the materials, cost of shipping, the cost of additional labor that I'm going to have to pay to help create this garment. You know, we have a small team now, so I'm not doing 100% of all of the sewing. I'll do the design work, I'll cut it, and I might send it to one of my designers to sew, and then we've got a hand sewing girl that does all that detail work at the end. It's so tedious. So I have to calculate all of that into the product. And it's been challenging because every year, you know, as prices go up, prices of labor go up, taxes go up, all of these things, and I have to continue to raise my prices.
Yes.
And when I actually broke it down, so I'm in a mentorship group right now, and like a business mentor training program. And part of that recently, what we did was we broke down, okay, last year you were selling your dresses at this price here. How much were your cost of goods sold, and what was your bottom line after all of that was done? And by the time I looked at it, like there wasn't even enough left to cover the labor that I was putting in. I was like, well, no wonder I'm not bringing home a paycheck. It's because I'm designing for free still, even after all these years. So being able to take a look at that and be like, okay, we really need that price point to be here. We know the quality is there. Like we've seen what other designers are doing. We've been to New York Fashion Week. We've seen other designer gowns come into our studio that we do alterations on, and we know that our quality is 100% at the top. So our prices are reflecting that now. So hopefully that bottom line starts coming up.
Well, I hope so too. I want to see that happen.
the
I want
goal.
to see it flourish. Definitely. Yeah. Is that mindset shift been a little bit hard for you? I want to talk about Fashion Week because you mentioned that.
Yeah, we definitely have to
gotta
get
talk
into
about
that. Yes.
We'll get to that in a bit.
Yeah.
But going into that business mindset, has that been a little tough for you, kind of trying to turn into, you know, a businesswoman more than a designer?
Right. I think that I always have had like a sense of how to do business. And honestly, I attribute a lot of that to 4-H too. Like we had to keep records on everything that we did. So having some of that instilled in me, like understanding to an extent a budget. Now, whether or not I'm good at sticking to it, it's a different story. But I do understand the purpose and how to create one.
Yeah.
So all of that, I mean, I wouldn't still be in business. I've been in business for 16 years. I would not still be in business if I didn't have a little bit of businesswoman in there. But when it comes down to the nuts and bolts of balancing bank accounts and figuring out, you know, cost analyses and all of these things, I can do it, but So that's going to be my next hire. I'm pretty sure I'm going to hire somebody to take over the operations part of it so I can have someone that loves doing that, and it just stresses me out.
But that is like such a smart approach that I think hurts a lot of creative people, is that they don't go into it under the approach of, hey, let me get people who are good and enjoy these things that I don't enjoy doing. They try to do it all on their own, and then they get overwhelmed. So the fact that you're even acknowledge that and you're working towards that. Or
on the flip side, they'll hire somebody just exactly like themselves, which is fine if you want to duplicate yourself. So like I have another designer that can step in and absolutely do everything that I do. Like if I'm out, anything happens, I'm 100% confident that she can come in and she can do it,
amazing.
And nothing's going to miss a beat. But if you hire everybody like that, then your business isn't going to go anywhere.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Yes. So what is, because you talked about it a little bit, but like how long is the process of creating a dress? And I know that everything is a little bit different, but just in general, just so like people who, guys, like we don't understand all, like
Never
we kind
made a
of get
dress
it, but
before.
never gotten a wedding dress. So
Our average actual like labor time to sew a dress, to create a dress from start to finish, by the time you sketch it, pattern it, sew a mock-up, and then build the dress with all the details and everything, we're usually running around 35 to 40 hours per dress. Now, that's only 1 week's worth of work, right? But we are not just doing one dress start to finish. Like we're doing, 50 dresses over the course of a year, where we are scheduling those fittings in. So we have a series of fittings that we schedule with our clients, whether it's virtually or local, where they will give their input on what the dress is looking like, how it's fitting, how it's feeling, and that way we can adjust and make changes to it as we go. So 6 months to a year is our sweet spot. That gives us plenty of time to order all the materials in, to make any changes and revisions to the design that we might need to as we go along. And it gives the bride an opportunity to kind of see how it's looking. And if she wants to change her mind on something, it's okay. Believe it or not, brides do that sometimes. That said, this year's brides have been so last minute. It's been 4 to 6 months. And that is a little bit more stressful. We've done 5 dresses in that time frame now, in the 4 to 6 month time frame. And that's just it's cutting it down to the wire. Like we know that we're going to get it done on time. The bride knows it's going to get done on time, but I carry the stress on that because there isn't a chance that I'm going to not have it done, and not only done in time, but have it done by enough time that she's not going to have to worry about it.
Yeah.
So that means 4 to 6 weeks before the wedding, she has to be trying it on and it has to be finished. So that if there is some unforeseen thing, like her size changes or she wants to change something on the dress or anything like that, there'd be time to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds
So,
pretty hectic.
that's very
6 months to a year is
Yeah. Fortunately,
the
I
timeline.
don't think I'll ever have to deal with that.
I don't think that's an issue that we'll have to have, but
Yeah.
But it's good to know,
Good to know. Good to know. Yeah, that design process, I'm sure, is. I think the front end is probably the fun part for you, getting to sketch and really pick their mind.
I enjoy every step of it. Sewing is my strength. I can sketch, and I enjoy sketching, and I enjoy getting to visit with the client and helping her realize her design. But honestly, I still love sewing. Like, I still love being back there, like hands-on creating the garment. It's still very rewarding for me.
Okay, so we've been talking a bit about the different designs. Do you create dresses for other cultures, like wedding dresses?
I have. So not a ton right now, but I did this beautiful dress for a Nigerian wedding, and it was stunning. And then she has actually had, I don't know if you know too much about Nigerian weddings, but it's incredible. They wear just over the top, formal, amazing, colorful, beautiful dresses. And they usually have headdresses and like sleeve pieces, and they're very architectural and super sexy with like high slits and all of this. So that was a lot of fun to be able to be part of that. We've done some Indian weddings. I haven't designed and made an Indian dress, mainly because of labor. It's so intricate. Like, if you look at that fabric and the artisans in India, like, it's incredible, the fabric and the material and the beadwork that they do. But we had the opportunity to alter some dresses for an Indian wedding, and just seeing the vibrant colors and everything was super fun.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's not many colors. I haven't seen many colors in wedding dresses, unless it's cultural.
Yes.
Yeah, well, actually, we do quite a few wedding dresses with color in them. I have brides that will come to us because they want a specific color, and of course they can't find it. So then they start looking into the custom route. So this year alone, we've done a green one, a red one, a blue one, and I have another like minty green one that I'm working on now.
Nice. Yeah.
And then I have another one that's just going to have color incorporated into it. So it's a white dress, but it's going to have like fall and autumn colors incorporated into it. Those are really fun because they're like an art piece.
Yeah.
Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of art pieces and New York Fashion Week.
Yes.
Yeah.
You got to put a piece on New York Fashion Week. up on the billboards
It
in
was on
Times
the
Square.
billboard. I'm still not entirely sure how that happened.
That's insane.
But it was insane. It was such a big surprise. We took our first collection of wedding dresses. Well, it's not our first collection of wedding dresses. It's the first collection we took to New York.
Okay.
This year in February, and it was just incredible. We actually closed the show. It was a smaller show, so kind of entry level, I guess you would say, even though we've learned some things and we'll be on a bigger runway next year. But there were some things that were just amazing about it. The fact that we were an established designer, we were able to close the show, which gave us an opportunity to do a photo shoot because the models didn't have to change out of our clothes right away. So I had a photographer that I met in Florida, kind of a complete God thing, I think, where I met him at a business conference and we just started talking. I told him I was taking this collection to New York Fashion Week. He's like, oh, I go to New York all the time. I'd love to photograph it. And he came and photographed the collection on the runway, and then we did a photo shoot afterwards. And the content that we got from that was incredible. And one of those photos that he took was put on this billboard. He managed to work some magic and get that up there. I don't know. He surprised me with it. So.
That is crazy.
But
That's
I
so
know
surreal,
it's
like-
so surreal to even say, "Oh yeah, my dress was on a billboard in Times Square." Like it's just bucket list, really. And I knew.
Was that ever a bucket list thing for you?
I mean, I knew it would be there someday. I knew
Someday,
it would,
gotcha.
but I didn't expect that to happen this quickly, I guess. I mean, 16 years seems like a long time, but I haven't been operating my business that entire time with intention. You know, I was sewing and creating dresses and doing what I loved, but I wasn't operating it with a vision.
Oh, yeah, buzzword right there.
Okay.
Yeah.
There we go. Yes, we love those buzzwords.
yeah.
I
Yes.
was
So
not
we're back.
operating it with I had a vision for a mission statement and a vision for bringing my bride's dreams to life, but I didn't have one for it growing into a brand that can sustain past me. And that's where I see it now. I see this being a brand that you will know Vanya, like you know Christian Dior, or you know Vera Wang, or you know Galia Lahav, you know. So that's what my vision is now. It's a
Very
big one,
cool.
but I believe it'll happen. They all started somewhere.
Yeah.
Where did you get the name Vanya Design? Yeah.
Vanya actually comes from my middle name. So my parents loved the name Alicia Vanya, but they thought Alicia Vanya was too much of a mouthful, so they shortened it to Von. They loved the meaning of Vanya, which is God's grace is upon you. And I love that as well. So being able to take that name and put that onto my business name, I feel like it's a little bit of a ministry for me as well, to be able to share that opportunity for love with our clients. And that's what the wedding industry is all about anyway. It's about celebrating love.
Yeah, that's amazing. I love how that just worked out with your middle name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
You
it's
can
so
put it into
cool.
the name
Yeah.
as well. That's super cool. Yeah. Have there been any really cool stories with that? As
With
from
Vanya,
like a ministry standpoint even too?
not anything super specific outside of it's opened some opportunities for some
Right, yeah.
conversations that I wouldn't have had otherwise, and some deeper connections on a relationship level with my clients.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure. You're really getting into their like personal, like
Yeah.
I wouldn't say personal
And it's
business maybe, but it's
Yeah.
super deep and connective. Your
Yeah.
wedding dress.
It
Which is what
is.
you want, for
Definitely.
the wedding dress, because it's such an important moment. And so
I
just
would
having
know.
these different feelers and different connection points is really cool.
Definitely. Yeah. And as far as where maybe the 10-year vision for Vanya, would that be like Paris? Would that be to continue going
Paris
to
will probably be within
York?
5.
Ooh, I love that.
There we
Yes.
go.
I've already been invited to Italy next year. It's just going to be a matter of
man.
whether or not I can swing that, and whether or not that should, like, I'll have to do my research and make sure that it's a show that I want to be in.
Yeah.
But I've already been talked to about that. So yeah, in 10 years, I would like to have a full team to where I'm not in there as day to day. I'd like to be traveling and designing one-on-one for couture clients at a higher level than I'm able to do just virtually via Zoom like I'm doing right now. I had the opportunity actually to design for a good friend of mine, and I made her wedding dress, And I did travel to her for fittings. She flew me out there for the design consultation and then flew me out there for a fitting. And then we did her final fitting in Mexico. I went to the wedding.
That's cool.
And so that was super fun. I could see myself doing that in 10 years. Like, just be the bride's personal assistant for the day, personal designer right there, last minute alterations, whatever you got to have done.
Absolutely. That sounds like, because you get to go to all the wedding destinations.
Yeah.
Which I want to know, what would be your preferred wedding destination?
Ooh, that's a
and what was
good
your
one.
wedding destination?
Oh, well, I got married super young. So my wedding destination was at a church in Wellington, Kansas.
Nice.
Super sexy.
Yes.
But
Barnyard wedding. There you go. Yeah.
I loved that Mexico wedding. That was so much fun. I would love to go to Spain. I think Spain would be really cool. Paris would be for a collection. Paris and Milan will be on the runways there. But
So we'll keep it for
my
that.
dresses have been in Paris already, though.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I had a photographer that reached out and wanted to take some. There was a group of photographers going, and they had this photo shoot planned, so she took some of my dresses to Paris.
Nice.
So they've been there, even though I haven't yet.
You just got to
That's
make
next.
your
Yeah.
stop there.
That's
I
next.
see.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because is Paris the pinnacle? Fashion?
Milan,
Is
Milan is
Milan
probably
Fashion
more.
Week is out.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah,
I got it.
the big
Okay.
one.
Very cool. Well, I'm excited to see whenever Vanya makes it over there.
Yeah.
Yes.
We'll make sure to post it up on
Sooner
our
rather
social.
than later.
We post that podcast session and whatnot. But yeah. oh my
Remember
gosh.
when?
Remember when we got the best wedding dress designer on our podcast.
There you go.
There we
I love it. Speaking into existence.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think they call that manifestation.
Absolutely.
There we go.
Do you see yourself, before we get into kind of some of the inspirational stuff, because I know that you have in the past dabbled with your own collections outside of like wedding dresses.
yeah.
Do you foresee yourself dabbling back into that, or?
If the opportunity presents itself and it doesn't take away from the time to pursue the vision with this company, to push it forward. So that was a lot of fun to be able to just get outside my box. And we did what Devin's referring to is a wearable sculpture collection that I did in collaboration with a local artist. So it was his designs and I helped him bring them into fruition. So it was a total joint collaboration. So much fun, super creative, super avant-garde. And the best thing about that for me was it really helped me believe in myself as a designer. Because we took that collection to New York Fashion Week as well. And when I was there and I saw the caliber of the other things that were on the runway, I was like, oh, I need to stop like having these self-deprecating thoughts of, because I'm in the Midwest, I can't roll with the big dogs.
Absolutely.
Because when I got there, I was like, oh, no, we're there. Like our stuff is this, it's better.
Yes.
So that gave me the confidence to put that on the vision board that I was taking a bridal collection to New York Fashion Week.
Absolutely.
Being able to see that. But I love doing little outside the box projects. I work with Eric Fisher.
I was just about to bring that up.
He has some amazing, incredible, creative ideas just like rolling all the time. And so every now and then he'll reach out and ask me to make a garment or two or three or come help style shoot for him to do whatever vision he's got for some avant-garde hair, makeup, or just an overall art look in photography. So that's fun.
Can I ask what avant-garde is? I've heard that. I just,
It's
just my vocabulary isn't
French,
there
I
yet.
believe, for fashion forward.
Avant-garde. Okay, so you have to say it like that too.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, now I know. Educational component.
Fashion forward. It means like the off the wall, like usually not super wearable
Okay.
art.
Mostly on runways.
On
or
runways.
Yeah, like those
Okay.
weird things. Well, I shouldn't
Yeah.
say weird, but those crazy things you see that you're like,
Someone's just
nobody
like
would
wearing
wear
an
that. Yeah.
actual trash can or something like that.
It could be. There's different, like it's not
A dress made out of bananas.
That
Avant-garde.
possibly. Yeah. Yeah.
a helium balloon like dress that keeps like you like just like barely floating the whole time. Avant-garde.
Yeah. It could
He
be.
just-
I mean, I've seen everything on the runways lately, so nothing would surprise me.
There you go. All right, well, I'm just throwing it out there. You can take it as you will.
Put that on your
Probably
vision
won't.
board as well. You know?
There you go. I'm more partial to the banana dress. I think that would be
Yeah.
cool. Yeah.
Might,
the
might be better
after
than
that
the
led
Lady
me.
Gaga meat dress. I don't know.
Yeah, you know.
I think that was Lady Gaga. Wasn't
That
it,
was,
the meat
yes,
dress?
it was. Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
My pop culture is correct here.
There we go. Good for you. Yeah.
But
Well,
good for her. Good for her.
good for her. Good for her as well. Yeah. We're going to roll into our inspirational
Okay.
segment now where we ask you your personal inspirational Mount Rushmore.
Oh my gosh. I
Your
wasn't
top
ready for this
4
one.
people who inspire you. It could be personal connections. It can be celebrities. It can be
Designers.
celebrity designers.
Top 4
Yeah.
people who inspire me. From a design perspective, there's a designer based out of Israel, and her name's Gali Lahav. I mentioned her earlier. I love her work. I just think it's high fashion, it's beautiful, it's intricate, and I love the details that she puts into her collection. Very high quality fabrics, exquisite details. So from a design standpoint, I would say
Gotta go with her.
she's like right up there at the top for me. I have to say I do draw my inspiration from God. I give him credit for the creativity. I give him credit for the talent that comes through these fingers. I feel like without
Absolutely. Yeah.
that, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. So that's the top one for sure, on guiding me and making business decisions and picking me up when I fail. My husband is the biggest supporter. Without him,
Great answer.
honestly, it's not easy to build a business, and you don't always bring home a paycheck. So to have someone in my corner who's there supporting me, not only financially, but also supporting me as my cheerleader, encouraging me to try things, not judging me when I fail, supporting me to take risks, and then just being my sounding board when I need some help with decision making. I do consider myself a feminist, so it's hard for me to say that because I believe I could have done this whether I had my husband in my life or not. But it has definitely made it tremendously easier to have that support at home and not to have to struggle maybe quite as hard as I would have had to do if it was on my own.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's 3.
That's 3. You need
That's
one
three,
more.
one more.
Which also, just to, reaffirm your answers, Kelly had the same answer with his spouse too. So
Oh, good.
You're on the
good.
right
I
track.
love it.
Yes.
I will say the 4th person I would say is a big source of inspiration for me from a design perspective is my designer that I've hired. I hired her right out of college and hired her as a design assistant, promoted her to assistant designer, and I've recently given her the full-on title designer because she doesn't need me anymore. But what her and I can create together is so much better than what I would create by myself. The 2 of us just are able to mesh our strengths, and that collection that we took to New York was the perfect example of that. It's the first collection where we each had the same amount of input into every single piece. Whereas previous collections, she'd be more strong on a couple of them, I'd be more strong on a couple. She'd finish some start to finish, I'd finish some start to finish. But this one was just so cohesive because we brought the 2 of our strengths together and just created something incredible with it. And that I love that collaboration. I think that's also why I like working with brides and bringing their ideas to life too, because it's not just me coming up with something. It's being able to pull out creativity in other people and then build on that. It's what I loved about the wearable sculpture collection that I did with Christopher Gulick. Being able to take his vision and his ideas and problem solve into how to make this happen. So that might be unusual for a designer. A lot of times you'll hear designers where they really want to make what's in their head. And I have those moments, but my real sense of fulfillment is from those collaborations and helping other people realize their dreams.
Yeah. Dreaming, we created.
Yes.
Awesome. Yeah. Great Mount Rushmore.
Okay,
That was
phew,
a
I
good
wasn't
one.
prepared for
That
that
was
one.
it.
So I guess that maybe spontaneous is best. That's probably why you guys do that.
Yeah. No, we haven't sent it to anyone. I don't know if that's something we should do so people can get like a.
No, I
really good-
like
think
the
it's good
spontaneity of
spontaneous.
it.
I think
'cause
it
it's
is,
raw.
yeah, 'cause
you
it's-
don't,
yeah, it's
you don't
genuine.
overthink it that
Yeah.
way.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I wasn't sure if Cruella DeVille was gonna be on there as
You
a
know, I
dress
love that
designer
movie.
herself.
I love that movie. That new one that came
Yeah,
out.
it
Oh
was
my
so-
gosh.
yeah.
Yeah, definitely could be right up there.
Definitely inspiration there in the business aspect of cutthroat.
Yeah.
Literally,
yeah,
I think
that's
she,
not
like-
how I do it though.
That's good. We're glad to hear that.
It's very
Yeah, there were some cool like fabrics and crazy stuff that
There's
opened
some
my
great
eyes for
designs
sure.
in that movie.
I should have watched
Great
that before
designs.
doing this interview. Definitely to get in that design mindset. But,
Well, kind of speaking of which, what are some like movies that stick out to you with great costume designs
Ooh. Oh, you'd have to go to movies. I don't.
or shows?
Yeah.
anything.
I don't watch that much movies and TV to like really be able to like pick one particular one out.
Or what's like
Anne
a
of
classic?
Green Gables.
Anna Green Gables. Oh my.
Oh goodness!
Oh my. What an answer.
I mean, she had those beautiful dresses and those puffed sleeves. I mean, what
It's
little
just-
girl wouldn't want that?
There you go.
Oh, no, I'm the mom of 3 boys, so we don't
didn't
get to
watch
watch a whole lot of those. I did love Cruella DeVille. That was fantastic. I loved the Barbie movie. I did watch that one.
There you go.
Very inspiring. But I'm the mom of 3 boys, so we watch a lot of Transformers and
Take any inspiration from the Lego movie?
yeah, Lego movies. We've
Yes.
seen those, the Guardians of the Galaxy,
go.
all of those. All
There you
of
go.
those. So,
Sounds like
but so far that hasn't translated into my design, so they're fun. But I love watching action movies with the boys, but then there's not very much time
yeah, makes
for
sense.
the chick flicks that have the
Makes
designs that I'd
sense.
like to see. I hear Bridgerton's really good, but I have yet to watch it.
Don't know what that is.
You don't? Okay, I at least know what it is. I haven't seen it, but
I don't know what it is. I'm never scared to admit that. But yeah, some more. Did we have another inspirational segment, or was it the? We wanted to go through this or that. You want to start
Okay.
that segment?
So we'll just move right along to
Yeah,
our this
another
or that
segment.
segment. And so with this, what we'll do is give you 2 options, and you will pick which one that you would like prefer.
Oh.
And so we're gonna start off, and with this first round, we'll do different styles of dresses. So if
Okay.
you want to give like a brief sentence about like what like that type of dress is
Oh, okay.
for people who aren't familiar
Yeah, that's
with it or
fun.
what that style is, and
No
then
pressure.
what you would kind of like pick. Okay.
Okay, cool.
All right.
Okay.
So for our first one, a boho or like a vintage?
I'm gonna go with vintage.
Vintage.
Just because boho is so done. We're still in Kansas and we're still doing boho, but I'm so over it. I do love vintage though. It's classic. It doesn't go out of style, and there's so much. We do heirloom redesign where we take an heirloom dress and then remake it for the bride. A big trend right now is turning it into a reception dress or like a getting ready robe, but we've taken them and created them into brand new wedding dresses for the bride. So she gets to have that little bit of sentimentality, whether it's from her grandma or her mom. And those are just timeless pieces, and the memories that you make with that, you can't put a price tag on. Like, it's amazing to see that.
Yes, because
And I do like the boho. I'm just over it. That trend it needs to just wait for a while and then come back.
We'll wait on it.
Because we forgot to kind of mention, and I know this is probably going a step back, but that's okay because it's our podcast, so we can do what we want. And I want to make sure to
my
highlight
motto.
this as well, because not only do you create custom like wedding dresses, but you can take like, let's say a woman has like their mother's old wedding dress, and you can kind of like redesign it or
Yeah.
reinvent it or
Yeah.
take pieces from it and everything. And so how kind of real quickly, like how's that process like? And What are some things you do
It's very
with it?
similar to the regular design process, except that we have a dress to start with, and then we get to be creative with it. So again, the bride will always tell her, bring in inspiration photos of what your dream dress looks like, and then let's talk about a way that we can take this dress and make it look like that. Or, well, sometimes they want to preserve the integrity of their mom's dress. There may be certain features of it that they love, like maybe they love the train, or they love the sleeves, or they really like the way the neckline looks. And so we make sure we always ask those questions and keep whatever parts of the original dress that they love. And we've had everything from just altering a dress to where it still looks very original, to completely taking it apart and just using the fabric to make a complete new garment.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I had to make
cool.
sure and get that in there because that's a big thing that you do. And we've been talking about trying to get
Yes.
those profits up.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
that vision board. So
100%.
okay. So now back to
Back to
it.
this
Back to the
and that.
segment.
Back to this and that.
Ball gown or A-line?
I love the ball gowns. I think they look beautiful on any body type. A-line can as well, as long as it's cut properly. But again, I'm just a princess girl. We gotta have the drama.
Princess girl it is. Let's get that ball gown.
Okay. Mermaid or Seth?
Sheath,
Sheath? Yes.
mermaid or sheath.
Yeah.
I definitely like the mermaid because I believe that it gives a bit more of an hourglass figure to a woman's body. Not all body types can pull off a sheath dress and feel comfortable in it. So a sheath dress is just straight. It's fitted from top to bottom, where a mermaid dress flares out either at the knees or like right below the hips. The great thing with a mermaid, again, it gives that hourglass figure, which every woman wants. It's sexy, it's beautiful. A sheath is classic and elegant, but my personal preference is mermaid.
Okay. Then our last one is Empire waist or two-piece.
Empire waist or two-piece. Well,
Like a
I
two-piece wedding
love both of those. As somebody who's 5'2", I love the empire waist because it makes me look taller. But the two-piece dresses are super fun. Just if you've got some abs to show off, you might as well show them off.
Okay.
So personally, I wear both.
Yeah. There we go. Ambiguous answer.
I know.
Very nice.
Yes.
Yeah. Is that
That
was
good.
this
That
or
was
that?
it.
Yeah,
That
yes,
was
that's
the
great.
test segment of this or that. You were
Yeah.
the first one to do that.
Yes.
So
You did perfectly.
great
Yeah.
job.
Yeah.
Well,
Great job.
speaking of services, the last thing that I will mention is that we do menswear as well. That's not my personal passion, but Libby, my designer, she loves doing menswear. She's created custom bespoke suits for guys, fit completely from the ground up. Like we were talking earlier, you can choose any type of fabric that you want for that. And it's just a great add-on once we have the bride to be able to fit her groom in something as well. So we do everything from bespoke suits all the way down to your traditional tuxedo rentals.
What about turtlenecks?
You can wear a turtleneck underneath your tuxedo. In fact, I think Devin modeled for me one time and maybe did that under a
I'm
jacket,
pretty
and
sure.
that looked
Yes.
great.
Mhm.
Yep.
Those. I was going to ask you about trends. Yeah, as we kind of wrap up this podcast,
Absolutely.
What's trending in the future for men and women?
For what we're seeing right now for bridal wear, for brides and wedding dresses, over the top bows, like really large, dramatic bows, lots of
Dramatic bows.
pearls. Bows so big, and we did some in our collection, but bows so big you can put your arms inside of them and they can double as a sleeve. Corseted bodices with a basque waist, that's where it drops down. It's a little bit more of that Victorian style. And glitter
Nice.
glitter everywhere.
Glitter.
I'm probably have glitter on me right now. If I don't, I'm shocked. So I just live in
A
glitter.
lot of glitter.
Glitter just it never goes away.
For men, there's like kind of
turtlenecks.
two sides. What?
Say turtlenecks.
Turtlenecks.
Say turtlenecks.
That's really the
turtle-
trend right now.
But we're
I
gonna
did say
make it a
turtlenecks.
trend. Yeah, we're gonna make it a trend.
Fine.
Yeah.
You know what? Every fashion comes back around, so you just hang in there long enough, and it's gonna be right there.
Just get to season 25. It'll be good.
What we're seeing for grooms wear is we're seeing a shift back to traditional tuxedos, like the black tie look, the James Bond look. I always have been a fan of that. And then for destination weddings, we're seeing more of like the tan or the light blues, more fun colors being incorporated into the wedding. So we just kind of have both sides of that. but pretty much anything goes. If you want to wear a turtleneck under your suit, like I said, Devin modeled one for me like that a couple years ago when it was in style. You can cut that if you want to.
I don't know what that last comment was for, but whatever.
And you can see how stylish I am. I'm here in my yoga clothes today, in my jean jacket. So it's comfy Tuesday day.
Well, yeah,
Yes.
we can't attack anything on style. So
No.
Devin probably could. Devin maybe could. I don't know.
So if people want to contact you, what are your social media handles?
Drop all that information.
all the
Yeah,
information.
definitely. On Instagram's our biggest by far. It is at Vanya Designs Bridal. Facebook is Vanya Designs, and then TikTok is Vanya Designs Bridal. Website vanyadesigns.com. If you go to the website, you can access everything else from there.
Very good website. I looked at it for research,
Thank
so
you.
I enjoyed looking at
I
it.
appreciate that you guys did research ahead of time. Nice job.
That's part of what we do.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, well, thank you so much for coming on.
It's my pleasure.
I know I had a great conversation.
It's a lot of fun.
I think everyone's gonna enjoy listening to
I hope
this.
so.
Yeah, we're really gonna enjoy.
If
putting
you
it
know
out there
anyone
and-
getting married, couture
Yeah,
wedding
yeah.
dress, we
Yes.
do have a referral program.
Ooh.
So if you're watching this
Use turtleneck
episode,
10% on the website.
if you're watching this episode and you do know someone who's getting married, if they give us your name when they order their gown, then you will get $50 cash, and they'll also get a gift from
Very
the store.
cool.
So
Very
Yeah.
cool. So no turtleneck 10% discount though.
Yeah, we'll talk. We'll talk about that
We'll talk
later.
about that. Yeah.
But thank you so much for coming onto the podcast. It was such a great time hearing about your story and just how you've been able to build this empire, and we can't wait to see you continue to grow and develop. Already doing such amazing things, and you're just going to keep on doing
you.
bigger and better things. And we're so happy to be able to highlight you. So
Thank you so much.
no
It was
problem.
my pleasure.
No problem. So thanks for tuning in for this week's episode. Don't forget to hit that subscribe and that like button, and you can go ahead and follow us on all social medias at Turtleneck Table Talk.